Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the Tier 7 Premium Cruiser, the Siegfried. So without further ado, let's look at our commander. We're using Karl von Moller. We're using Nikolai Kuznetsov and Norman Scott as our inspirations. We're running Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, and Fixated with the fully packed skill. If we look at the ship itself, we are running Aiming Systems Mod 1, Steering Systems Mod 2, Concealment System Mod, and our main battery Mod 3. Okay, and if we go in here, you can see I'm running the Community Contributor flag and the camo that comes with it. The stats: survivability 55,000 hit points with a 22% torpedo damage reduction. Artillery, you have 380 millimeter 52 caliber guns, which you have 6 of. So 380 millimeters, it's 15-inch guns basically. 18.4 kilometer firing range, reload time of 22.9 seconds, 180 degree turn time of 41.4 seconds. That is one of the biggest downsides of this ship. HE shell time, or shell damage, is 4,400 with a 37% chance to set fires, and AP shell maximum damage of 12,528. You do have some secondaries. They're 128 millimeters. You have 14 of them, 7 per side most likely. 128, what did I say? 5.2 kilometer firing range and a 3.6 second reload with a 1,500% or 1,500 damage for the HE and 8% fire chance. Torpedoes. You've got 503 millimeter torpedoes. You've got 8 of them, 1 quad launcher on either side of the ship. 90-second reload time. They have a very good, I mean, it's torpedo launchers, so 6 seconds, 180 degree turn time. Maximum damage is 13,700, so not bad for 533s. Torpedo detectability is 1.3 kilometers, not bad, but not great. Torpedo range is 6 kilometers, and the torpedo speed is 65 knots. So, not bad. The torpedoes are nice. A little bit short range, so they're going to be a defensive torp mostly. But other than it, it's not bad. Maximum speed, 34.8 knots. So, respectable. Not overly fast, but respectable. 880 meter turning circle was bad for a cruiser. Like, real bad. Like, that's worse than an Alabama, let's just put it that way. It's worse than some battleships. So, that should tell you everything you need to know. Rudder shift time of 11.2, even with our single steering gears mod. That's why you may end up dropping concealment mod for the extra turning, if you want. Concealment, though, we've got ours down to 11.7. Remember, these are battleship caliber guns, and we've got an 11.7 concealment. That ain't bad. Of course, as soon as you fire your guns, all bets are off. But 11.7 by sea, 7.4 by air, 2 kilometer guaranteed as always, and 12.5 kilometers detectability while firing in smoke. So not bad if you have smoke to cover. Remember, this is battleship caliber guns. These are 15-inch guns on a cruiser. Now, the armor, if you look at this ship, there's a few things that stand out. First of all, it's got very good belt armor for a cruiser. It really does. It's got really good belt armor. However, the bow and stern leave a little bit to be desired, which is not preferable. So let's look at it. 26 millimeters. Why is that something that you need to know? 26 millimeters is just below what it takes to be overmatched by the 15-inch guns and above. So we know that the Baltimore has 27 millimeters, so does the Wichita, so does the Alaska I think has 32. But 27 millimeters is the minimum required to not be overmatched by 15-inch guns. So what you run into is the majority of the ships that you run into that are battleships have the ability to overmatch your bow and stern. So what you really want to do is get them to shoot your belt, because then you have a chance. If they shoot the front, they're going straight through, and they can citadel you through the front of the ship. So, speaking of the Citadel, let's go ahead and get rid of the armor real quick so that we can look at the Citadel. That's another weakness. This Citadel does not go... it does extend below the surface, but it actually is raised above the surface as well, meaning a good penetration at the waterline means bad news for you. So that is my biggest issue with this ship, and we'll talk about that when we get to the gameplay. We've got big guns, obviously. We got battleship guns on this thing. It is essentially a Gneisenau with no armor. Just that's the way you want to look at this ship. It is a Gneisenau with no armor. It's above average base HP rating, superior AP damage, obviously, and a super heavy Type 0 or Type O cruiser designed to operate in powerful raider formations. At the time the ship was designed, it was fast enough to escape from any battleship. That's debatable. While its armor protection and armament were strong enough to annihilate any cruiser. Year of design, 1940. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so at 1940, it was capable of, like, if this had been built. This obviously wasn't built. It was designed in 1940, so at the time you didn't have an Iowa class. But when the Iowa class was introduced, the Iowa class has a posted top speed of 35 knots. Now, obviously, that's in perfect conditions. That is probably everything that they could do to squeeze every inch out or every knot out of the boilers. Like, you're pushing the ship beyond its means to get that, but it was possible. So technically, the Iowas were faster than this, but this was never built anyway. Anyway, let's look at the ship. It is a good-looking ship. I really do like the look of this ship. The camo's nice. Like, it's a good-looking ship. It's got a good profile. You gotta love the twin stacks, really big, meaty stacks on top of that. The launchers are protected somewhat in the center of the ship. Like, it's a good-looking ship. I really do enjoy it. But, yeah. Unfortunately, there are some slight drawbacks when it comes to the gameplay. So, let's get to it. Alrighty, so we're gonna be on North, and we are in a division with Soviet Death and Galley once again. Just like in the video yesterday. But this time, we're in Siegfried. And we are also going to be going up against all normal people, right? No AI in this battle. But yeah, so we're going to push down to the right side. And we got to talk about this ship. Like, this ship has me hopeful. Like, it really does. Like, I really, really want to like this ship. But every single time I start to get rolling in this ship, it just dies. It gets obliterated. And there's not a whole lot I can do about it. And that's my biggest drawback with it. And on top of that, the gun's rotation is garbage. You really, like, I know that I have done nothing to increase the rotation speed of the turrets. I know there's commanders like Charles Madden who can help with that. I get that. But the gun rotation is garbage. It just is. There's no other way around it. It is garbage. Like, if you try to turn, your ship turns so fast that you can't keep your guns on target, and that is no bueno. It means you have to choose whether you want to return fire or you want to dodge incoming fire. So, definitely something to keep in mind. Again, I don't like to tell people what they should or shouldn't buy. That ain't my position. I just like to throw out my personal, like, experience with the ship so far. And while I do think it has good things about it, the guns hit hard. They're good with AP and HE. Like, I like the guns. But, I mean, look at that. 9,000 damage on a bow-tanking Massachusetts. You can't argue with it. It's a good ship in terms of being able to do damage. The problem is, it's kind of like the Pensacola. At Tier 5, the Pensacola is very nasty. The guns are disgustingly good, even though it does have a little bit of a slow turret traverse. Yes, it does have a slow fire rate, but those guns at Tier 5 are disgusting. And this is a lot similar to the Pensacola. But the problem with the Pensacola and the problem with this is any time that a battleship looks at you, bad things are bound to happen. No matter how good you are, you start to do everything in your power to try to avoid them. But all it takes is one hit, one screw up, and you're gone. Or very, very hurt. Now, we lose our Akatsuki right off the bat, which is never good. But the enemy is kind of trying to... What do you call it? Oh, hello, Kutuzov. Hold these. Wait for it. Come on, baby. No! We got a hit, but we got very little. He did throw it in reverse in time to avoid that. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Now, they've already just about lost their Massachusetts. He's coming in. You got the Gneiseno also trying to rush in. He's dropping torps. Everybody is not having a good day right now. We actually lose our Tirpitz first. Of course we do. I guess it's Tirpitz coming in. So their Tirpitz gets our Tirpitz. But then our Tirpitz also kills the Massachusetts. So, a trade. And their Tirpitz is going to die pretty quick. You cannot bully this side of the map very often. It's pretty even, like, playing field for both teams on this side of the map. The biggest issue with these guys is their cruisers are hiding so far around the corner that the only person their cruisers can shoot is me, allowing everybody behind me, which is 4 ships, to focus down the battleships. Now, Kutuzov comes back out. He's starting to shoot at me. We also have, I want to say it's a Mogami out there, right behind him. No, it's an Otago, sorry. Now, they get 2 fires on me. I'm hesitant initially to drop these. Now, I will say this. The other thing that we didn't mention is the heal on this ship is actually pretty good, especially for a cruiser. The heal is pretty darn good on this ship. So that's another bonus to the ship. So it's got a good heal. It's got, you know, good guns. It needs armor. If it had 27 millimeters on the bow and stern, this thing would be probably one of the best cruisers in the game. Even though it is a battleship caliber gun. I know it's technically a battle cruiser if you look at it like that. We don't have battle cruisers in World of Warships Legends, so we just call it a cruiser. But at the same time, this ship can be very, very good. And against cruisers, it's nasty because it overmatches a lot of the cruisers that it goes against. 8 to 15-inch guns. Just like we're able to do. We're able to overmatch ourselves. You can see our, I want to say it was Massachusetts getting a good hit on the Kutuzov there. I can't remember if it was Soviet in the Mass or, I think it is Soviet in the Massachusetts. And Galley and a Bismarck, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, either way, somebody punched the Kutuzov in the mouth. And Otago is next. And he turns, gives me a beautiful shot. Come on, baby. And we get nothing. Still showcasing that it will troll you occasionally. You gotta love it. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. Now, we do cut across the bow of our battleship that's right next to me. Galley and the Bismarck is coming up to my left. He's gonna turn around the island. You got torpedoes in the way. Hopefully he doesn't take any of those. And he does take one right on the stern. Unfortunate. But we're trying to get rid of this Kutuzov. The Otago's right here and already dead, actually. Forgot about that. Otago goes down. Kutuzov goes down. Now we have the Bismarck, the Massachusetts, we have me, and whoever's behind me, and then we have a cruiser and a battleship over there on the other side. And 2 battleships over there. 1 battleship's all by his lonesome. He's out in the open. He's got a destroyer and a couple battleships on top of him. He's broadside to everything, it looks like. Like, this is not where you want to be. If he's trying to kite away, he needs to turn out towards the edge of the map, but you know, is what it is. He goes down. There's not a whole lot he could have done there. Like I said, if you're trying to kite, you gotta open up the angles. You don't want to be sitting broadside to everybody. But he goes down. That leaves a battleship and a cruiser on that side of the map, and then what? 3 battleships and me on this side of the map. Now this Mogami is kiting, okay, and this is something that everybody needs to start learning to identify. If a person is kiting away, as long as they're in range, you can shoot at them, but you cannot chase them. If you chase them, you validate their kiting. Okay? If you don't chase the kite, guess what? It doesn't matter if he kites. All he does at that point is take himself out of the fight. So that's one thing I want to get through to everybody. And to our credit, me, Galley and Soviet all recognize that the guy's kiting away. We're coming in. We're trying to get in a position to help with these guys over here. Our battleship, again, broadside to everybody right now. Not where you want to be. Goes down. It was a Lyon. Goes down to a Richelieu and a Massachusetts and a... I forget what else is out here. Gneisenau, maybe? There is a Gneisenau. I think it is a Gneisenau. But Richelieu here, we've got a broadside shot. Unfortunately, we were trying to load the HE to set some fires here. We got a bunch of battleships. He goes even more broadside, which just makes you cringe. Because if I'd had AP loaded, we could have smacked him, even though we did hit the island, unfortunately. Only got a single hit on him. And that goes back to what I dislike about the Gneisenau. Gneisenau, very tanky battleship, but the guns are horrendous. Like, when they work, they work. But a lot of times, because you only have 4 guns firing over the front, it can be very, very underwhelming unless people are giving you extreme broadsides. Now, Benson comes around the corner. He's trying to smoke up. He's getting spotted. We got a Wichita right next to us. And the Wichita is firing at the battleships right now. And we'll come back to the Wichita later. But this Benson is right around the corner from us. We can't afford to go around this corner. We don't want to be taking torps at this point. We've got a Massachusetts over here. Benson goes down because Soviet behind us in the Massachusetts manages to take him out, which is huge. However, unfortunately for us, Soviet is also going to manage to not be able to avoid those torpedoes forever. And I believe he goes down from the Benson. And that leaves just me and Galley, and there is a... Or wait, maybe it was the Wichita that's directly behind us, and there's another cruiser out to my left. I get mixed up sometimes, but we're trying to set fires on the Massachusetts. You can see Massachusetts able to chunk us pretty good. I'm not going straight bow in for this reason. Now I look over and I see the Richelieu here. The Richelieu looks like he's gonna beach. So I'm thinking, okay, this is my opportunity to torp this Richelieu. So I'm going to make a mistake here. I'm going to push out, try to get torpedoes on him, and that's going to leave me extremely vulnerable. Now, we do have the Massachusetts burning, so that's good. He does fire at us, which is not good. But again, we're trying to make sure he hits the belt. He still gets some damage off of us, but if he hits the bow of the ship, he's going to penetrate potentially citadel us. So at this angle, he's unlikely to citadel us by hitting the armor. And we have the chance to ricochet some of them, which we didn't do very good in that one. But Richelieu doesn't beach himself. He gets around the corner, and now I'm kind of on an island out here by myself. Massachusetts comes out, we shoot at him, and we get a couple good hits with the HE, and he is going to be able to absolutely rock us right here, which is not what we want. That's where see the shot straight through the bow? That's what I'm talking about. Just like the Yami at this angle, he can go through that bow armor and into the citadel. He hit us for 12,000 with one of his penetrations. It's nasty. Nasty. But he's also broadside. We get our AP loaded, and we're going to be able to get nothing. 1,200 damage. Now, obviously, we lose Soviet behind us. He did survive the torpedoes, but goes down to the Richelieu. The Richelieu has pushed all the way around the corner now. I look back to get ready to potentially torp off the left side of my ship, and you can see Bismarck right in the way. I'm like, no, don't back up, don't back up, don't back up. And he's actually reversing, which is causing me to not be able to get the torps off any sooner. But at this range, it's going to be real hard for me to miss these torpedoes. But same can be said for Mr. Gneisenau, who catches us with a torp. Now we're flooding. We got 3 fires. We don't get our damage back, or damage com back for another, 20 seconds. And unfortunately, this is just too much. We can't survive these. But we've done pretty well. We've done a lot of damage in this one. I think we end up with 127 or something like that. We do have the Richelieu flooding, and you can see I'm contemplating jumping into chat because this Wichita is just he's doing nothing to help the team. Like he was the guy that was on the other side fighting battleships initially, but then he sailed all the way across the map away from the battleships to go over here and try to take on a kiting opponent, and he's not even doing a very good job at that. This is just not necessary. Like, I don't understand what this guy's thought process was, but I'm not going to make you guys sit through the end of this match. Nothing happens. This guy gets his butt kicked, and, that's all we can say about that. So, let's look at the end of the statistics, shall we? Alright, so what do we end up with, guys? 124,000 damage, 4 torpedo hits, second on the leaderboard, Galley coming in top, Soviet coming in fourth. Like, we did everything we could. The Wichita ended up, I guess, getting some damage at some point, but yeah, definitely didn't help us at the end there. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.